Next, as you can see, Russell, Edwards, Beasley, McDaniels, and Towns for the Wolves. And for the Clippers, Bledsoe, Kennard, Mann, Batum, and Zubac and Isaiah. No Paul George, who will step up in his absence.
You know, in an exhibition game like tonight, you know, it's always about the guards. I'm looking for Bledsoe. You know, he's one of those guys that, you know, can really light it up and have one of those big kind of nights. And, you know, in the exhibition season, it's all about speed and getting to the basket, and he may be able to do that tonight.
All right, well, we will wait and see, and not wait too long, in fact, because we are getting closer and closer to tip-off. We mentioned no Paul George, but keep in mind this is just the preseason, so this is an opportunity for players to show their coaches what they're capable of. Do we have time to talk about one more thing, or are we going right to the game?
No, we can talk.
All right.
Forget the game.
Okay.
It's not us.
Because I am curious, Isaiah, what you think, because you've been on all sides of this, right? Player, not a Hall of Fame player, coach, executive, owner. So what are you looking for in the preseason from these guys that may or may not be X factors?
You already have your star players. You know who your go-to guys are as a coach. Now what you're looking for is who are going to be those reliable role players that can fill in when my star players are out. That's what you're looking for in the exhibition season.
Perfect. So you all look for that, as we will. There you go. First quarter is underway in Los Angeles. We'll be back with you at halftime.
In their offensive set, they need to get them going early. Just 5 of 12 in that last game in Denver. Terrence Mann swooping in though. Zoo with a kick out to an open Bledsoe on the flyby, drives and draws the foul. Well, even if you go back to the play and the drive by Terrence Mann, early in the season, he wouldn't have seen that opportunity. But because he had the, wherewithal to play minutes and be in familiar territory, now that move becomes natural. He missed the shot, and Bledsoe able to pick up the foul, but it was the intent there and also the execution to see it and make it happen.
Man has played well here in this preseason. 13 points and 3 assists in 24 minutes against Dallas on Friday. Bledsoe doing what he does well. Gets into the paint and a finish from Ivica Zubac.
Two turned down three-point shots that could have been contested, but yet Bledsoe, the veteran, savvy, able to get inside and 2 for 2.
We have seen a nice chemistry between Zoo and Bledsoe in the first 3 preseason games that they have played together. See Kennard bothering Towns. They go inside to Russell. Luke with the rebound. Here comes Bled back the other way. Minute gone by. Corner 3 for Terrence Mann. Halfway down, and it rattles out. And Russell has the loose ball for Minnesota. Southpaw attacks. Floater misses everything, and Kennard once again with the loose ball.
Yeah, good contest that time by Nick Batum right there.
Bledsoe did not score in Dallas, draws the foul, and will go to the line here for a couple of free throws. We saw him driving inside. He and Zoo seem to have really a nice chemistry going on.
As a point guard, to have a big that's always available is very important, whether it's a lob or it's a drop pass. Zoo doesn't come into the lane too soon, allows Eric Bledsoe to have enough room to operate, then able to finish inside. So it's going to be interesting to see that coordination as we continue through the balance of the season of how well they really work together mid-season and near the end.
It's interesting because Eric Bledsoe basically takes the spot of Pat Beverly, who is with Minnesota but not playing here tonight. And he has a different skill set than Pat. One that I think, and there's no slight to Pat, and we'll talk about it a little later, who was phenomenal for the organization. But they need to get paint attacks, and this is a guy that can get it done in Eric Bledsoe. Yeah. Ty always talks about those paint touches for the Clippers, and you can see the numbers offensively. They spike in a big way whenever a possession touches the paint, whether it finishes at the rim or above the arc. The Clippers are so good when that ball gets inside. The Timberwolves are so good when he has the ball in his hands. That's Karl Anthony Towns.
Well, but he makes it difficult. Karl Anthony Towns, beautiful crossover, get help that time by Towns because his ability to step out and knock down perimeter jump shots. Now you pull the defense out. If you don't close out his airspace, he can shoot it over. If you get too close, he has the ability to put it on the deck as well.
Batum in his park place misses on the 3. Towns comes away with the rebound. Batum has played sparingly, understandably so, here in the preseason after a hectic playoff performance for the Clippers. Went straight to Tokyo, where he won his silver medal. Had about 2 weeks off before his training camp begins. Towns misses on the 3. Kennard hoisting up the 3, and it's good. I'll tell you what, that's what he was doing in San Diego, and that's what we saw on Friday in Dallas.
But he took the thought process out of it. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He got to a spot, and without hesitation, he shot it.
Russell for three. Has such a nice arc on the ball. Rattles that one home. It's a tie score with nearly 3 minutes off this first quarter clock. Man to Kennard. Batum, great look at a three, and he knocks it down. Clippers lead 10-7. Clippers have hit half of their shots, so too have the Wolves. Bledsoe with a running rebound for the Clippers, trying to attack here in transition. Kennard for three.
I like it.
The aggression wasn't there to start the year last season, and now he has found it along with his comfort zone. Man, given space, lets it fly. It jumps off the iron, and this is Russell the other way from Minnesota. Good contest by Kennard. Shot is short. Russell chases down the rebound, but runs out of real estate, and the ball goes back to the Clippers.
Well, go back to Luke Kennard. You talked about slow starts last year. Well, here's this excellent play of just getting into a shot, and then the backdoor cut, draws the defense and makes a play. Listen, when you come over and you're accustomed to being on the floor 28, 30 minutes, you know where you're going to get your shots. You don't have to rush. You don't have to press. Luke last year wasn't quite sure, so it took him a little bit of time to figure that out within the offense. And it's not an easy task, Brian, when you're accustomed to playing large minutes and big minutes, and then that gets cut back. Just tend to overthink the situation more than not.
Talking with the coaching staff in the first couple of games in the preseason, they thought that Kennard was not getting his work done early as a shooter, not getting set, getting rushed, and taking difficult shots. He said after the Dallas game, where you mentioned he hit 5 threes, I finally felt like I was stable, I got to my spots, and I felt comfortable when I had the ball in hand. And the results speak for themselves. Man, another foul line jumper. Rebound tap skyward repeatedly. Russell comes out of the scrum with it and brings it back. Does not have numbers for Minnesota. He does not care. The drive and the dish, the corner three is true for McDaniels. And we are tied at 10s with 4 minutes off this first quarter clock. Zubac's backing down on Towns. Floater hits the side of the backboard. Edwards, second-year player, misses off the iron. He is one to watch, and he is aggressive around the iron. He doesn't finish at the most efficient rate, but he can do some damage. Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Yeah, and I think this is accurate, grew a couple inches over the summer, which is a great sign for the Timberwolves organization.
He grew more comfortable last year. As this season went on, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Bledsoe dials it in from 15.
Well, that mid-range jump shot, Bledsoe can get that all day. You're talking about in between the game, that jump shot keeps you in the game, or it extends the lead for you. Excellent at that is Bledsoe.
Russell and Towns connecting. There's a good chemistry. We'll talk about it a little bit later as they miss inside. Bledsoe races back the other way, accelerates down the lane. Oh, lays it off for a man who finishes as the Clippers grab a 2-point lead.
Now, where was Bledsoe? Is that 2 feet in the paint? There it is. It's a reason why you want that in backdoor cut, not staying married to the corner. Man, able to get easy, too.
Doing well moving without the ball. Edwards, sidestep three. Maybe blocked, maybe fouled. Either way, man leaks out with one player to beat and lays it in. Anthony Edwards pleading to Tony Brothers. We had a good look, but I
defer to say it was a good play by Terrence Mann. What do you mean? I mean, Tony Brothers, excellent. No call right there. What do you mean?
Russell back the other way, and a whistle and a timeout for Minnesota as we approach the midway point of the first quarter. Clippers out in front by 4. Bledsoe and Terrence Mann looking good.
Well, they get it there. Backdoor, don't stay married. Terrence Mann, you want to get all the easy buckets you can get.
Here's your top-tier play presented by Arco.
Well, the toughest offensive guard is one that continues to move. You see Luke Kennard right here. Just watch his movement as he cuts back door. And watch the attraction, the defense. If we freeze it right there. Now, Zubac doing a great job of occupying Daniels. Now, Batum is going to step over. Eric Bledsoe steps over. Now, in this space here, Luke Kennard has multiple options. Okay, now you can make a play, easy shot for Batum. But that's the offense we're going to see a lot more body movement, ball movement by the Clippers this year.
Coming out of the timeout, Wolves have it. Clippers lead by 4. Towns goes solo against Zubac, plays back up top to Russell for 3, and he knocks it down. Second bucket for Russell. He has 6.
Great play out of the timeout by Chris Finch to draw up something quick to get Russell a wide open look. That time, the Ohio State product just knocked it in.
Batum for 3 cannot retaliate. Russell, the second pick back in 2015, traded from Golden State to Minnesota back in 2020, I believe it was. He started the 2019 season in Golden State, but hasn't played many games with his buddy Karl-Anthony Towns. As Bledsoe attacks, draws the eye of the defense. That leaves Terrence Mann all alone for 3, but leaves it short.
Yeah, and we talked about the jump shot. That time has to get a little bit more elevation out of his legs and then finish high. He has a nice stroke. He just has to have the confidence to take it.
Edwards knocked out of his hands and out of bounds. It goes back to the Clippers. 5:11 to play in the first quarter. There's Russell taking a seat on the bench. Again, Karl-Anthony Towns, Russell, good friends. There's terrific chemistry. Talking with Chris Finch before the ballgame, he says that we see all of that. Now we're trying to put it on the floor. Bledsoe attacks with the defense in his rear view, but felt the footsteps, misses wildly, and here comes Edwards. Can easily make a case. He should have won Rookie of the Year. Drives into the paint.
He may have had the dunk of the year last year, I can tell you that much.
That was incredible. Oh, his athleticism is quite literally off the charts.
And I think it was a kid from Toronto. Maybe that dunk was. But give a lot of credit to Steve Smith. Worked with him a lot in high school.
Kennard being very aggressive in his first quarter, and that is what the coaching staff wants to see.
Yeah.
The joke is he should only shoot when he has the ball in his hand, and he has finally taken that up as Towns is denied inside, but a lot of contact. We'll send him to the line for a couple of free throws.
But as a coach, you feel comfortable telling Luke Kennard to take more shots because he's not going to take bad shots and force shots. You just want him to be able to be aggressive, force the defense to have to react, and when you have the shots, step up there and take them.
15 games in the playoffs where the Clippers have really shot well. This is Karl-Anthony Towns. You see, he's in the conversation for best centers in the NBA. Looking for a little help there in the Twin Cities to get them back into the playoffs. Clippers return to action at Staples Center for their regular season home opener on October 23rd when they host the Memphis Grizzlies. Coverage starts at 7 on Bally Sports SoCal, Bally Sports San Diego, and streaming on the Bally Sports app. Eric Bledsoe takes a seat. Very active here tonight, but again, I think a lot of these players are just ready for the regular season to begin. As we've mentioned a couple of times, this is the final preseason for the Clippers, but they don't play until October 21st in Golden State. So they've got an additional part of their training camp just around the corner. Kennard curling, catching, but cannot connect. Long rebound goes back to Mann, and the Clippers reshuffle the deck. Great ball movement. Zoo trying to get a little fancy there, turns it over, and it results in a 2-on-1 for Minnesota. Edwards misses on the tough shot inside. Clippers retreat the other way, down by 1. Mann knocks down the 3. A teeter-totter first quarter. Clippers 19, Wolves 17. Paul George sitting the festivities out here tonight, getting some rest. And again, we talked about it in the open. Edwards soaring inside a whistle and found that the veterans are ready for the preseason to be over.
Yes, I remember those days. Excited when I was a rookie. Not too excited when I was older, but this young man here, this is quality work early in the preseason for Terrence to hone in on some skills, but to also develop confidence in that jump shot. We're going to keep going back to that.
As the number 1 overall pick back in 2020. It was a terrific selection. His future blindingly bright, but it wasn't an easy pick. There was no real clear-cut number 1. The front office did a very good job, and he should be wearing a Timberwolves uniform for a very long time to come. And if you have not seen an interview with Anthony Edwards, whatever you are doing, when he is on your television screen, stop and watch. His stream of consciousness is next level, and it is always hilarious. They've got a real gem in Minnesota. Winslow brings it across half court for Minnesota. For beg your pardon, the Clippers tied at 19. Kennard surrounded by defenders, finds man. A couple of ball fakes, put in handcuffs, and have to throw the ball away and ultimately out of bounds.
You know, back to the Minnesota part of it, too. They had a decision to make. Wiseman, but you already have talent. So you need a wing player because this young man right there still has loads of talent and good defense by Terrence Mann. So you had the point guard situation kind of handled. So it made sense that you needed a bigger wing to compete, to guard, and to be able to score. And Edwards fit the bill for the Timberwolves.
All square at 19. 3:10 to play in the opening stanza. This is Mann. Good look at three and knocks it down.
Now remember when he had that 39, how confident he felt either off the dribble, spotting up in the corner with that jump shot right there. Recognized the defensive man went underneath, made him pay for it.
A life-changing game in so many ways, as Andrew Greif, who does such a great job covering the Clippers for the LA Times, wrote that to meet Iverson is being recognized on vacation out of the country. Life is good for Terrence Mann, which means life is good for the Clippers. Cut down to one. Amir Coffey, Minnesota native. As they drop it off inside the zoo, ball deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with the Clippers. Are they going to say back to Minnesota? Either way, we got a timeout, 2.5 to go.
Last year, you knew that Terrence Mann was going to get some recognition, but there was even one that caught him by surprise. And Brian, you touched on this just a moment ago. In advance of his 25th birthday, Terrence's mom, Daniela Force, arranged for him to meet his childhood idol, and that would be Allen Iverson. The meeting took place in an LA hotel last week, and AI said about Terrence, this is a bad man. This is a certified killer. Can you imagine meeting your idol and then having him tip his cap to you like that? Pretty special moment for Terrence.
Jamie does a great job of actually cleaning up the language that was actually used. Good job out of Jamie there. Wolves score. It's a 1-point Minnesota lead. 2:15 to play in this first quarter.
But Brian, you understand how Terrence feels. That's what happened last year when I came on board. You told me that about me and you. Yeah, that was your idol.
That was supposed to be a private conversation. Terrence Mann off the pass, gets into the paint, swirls around. Good defense by Russell. Winslow saves it, gets it off ahead of the horn. Did well just to shoot it. Ball goes back to Minnesota, but an errant pass, and the ball goes now back to the Clippers.
Yeah, a couple tough possessions. That time the Clippers got deep into the shot clock. Terrence unable to get the ball out, and then the opportunity for the Timberwolves to get out and run. Not coordinated on the outlet pass. Turned it back over to the Clips.
Kennard and Mann take a seat. They get the start tonight because you have to think they're going to be a 1-2 punch coming off the bench, and Tyler wants to keep that unit with Nicholas Batum as well, as tight as you can make it. Winslow. Strong drive inside. Giles tries to tap it home. Cannot. Naz Reid has it for Minnesota. Gives to Russell. Down the lane. Bouncing off defenders. A whistle and a foul.
And that's the thing about D'Angelo Russell in transition. Even in his half-court set, he's not overly quick, but he's shifty. You know, he can get from point A to point B, tricky with the dribble, forces you to react, and he does a good job of picking up some fouls as well.
Tune in October 16th for the Clippers season preview show, where we will take you behind the scenes as Christina Pink sits down with Paul George, Ty Lue, and others to get their take on the season ahead. Watch it 10 p.m. on Bally Sports SoCal, Bally Sports San Diego, and streaming on the Bally Sports app. 25-22, 6 unanswered for Minnesota. Brandon Boston, exciting rookie for the Clippers, gives to Jay Scrubb, who is also exciting because of reasons like that. Boston and Scrubb can score at elite levels at their young age. Noel gives to Russell, back to Noel, fakes the three on the flyby, able to find some space but misses on the three. And Giles, who has played limited minutes, averaged 8 rebounds a game, comes away with another one. Under a minute to play in this opening frame. Winslow down the lane, bouncing into defenders in his own right, and the southpaw lays it home.
That was a big boy game right there. He put his left shoulder right into the chest of Russell, dislodged him all the way back in to get that basket.
Well, a whistle, the bucket doesn't go, but he'll go to the line for a couple of free throws. Time now for the drive to the hoop, brought to you by Hyundai.
Well, let's go back to the last play. Now watch the shoulder right here. This is old man, grown man strength right there. D'Angelo Russell took the brunt of that. But you got to understand, when you're guarding Justice Winslow, what does he want to do? He wants to get to the paint. At that time, despite the defense, able to get it in.
Well, it's funny, talking to some of the coaches, they're saying, well, he might be our third-string point guard, or he might be our second-string, third-string center. He could play, as we play positionless basketball these days, he could play 1 or 5 for the Clippers.
I think what opened up that conversation when he was in Miami, because he played so many positions, started out at point guard at times, played the 3, played the 4, showed his versatility. More important, if he's a ball handler, making really good decisions with the basketball.
Well, I mentioned Boston, I mentioned Scrub, we talked about Terrence Mann. Winslow hasn't been healthy in a month of Sundays.
Yeah.
And everybody is curious, what can he do when he is healthy? Takes a long 2 there with plenty of time on the clock, but a whistle and a loose ball foul against Minnesota, 23 seconds to play in this first quarter.
Well, coming out of Duke, the athleticism was there for him. Okay, he could run the court, but then when you continue to get injuries, it takes some of that athleticism away. So if you're not a good outside shooter, then you're not able to get to the basket. But he's crafty enough to figure out ways to still be effective. It'll be interesting with this, Clippers team if he stays healthy. How well he gels with with his teammates.
Coffee tries to feed it into Giles, and the ball is kicked. It stops the clock. 17.2 seconds to play here in this first quarter. Here's side out here for the Clippers. A 3-second shot clock to game clock differential. Boston never shy to shoot it. A whistle and a foul. And that'll put Boston at the line for a couple of free throws here. On Taurean Prince, who I thought was a nice pickup for Minnesota. They got some defensive-minded guys, or guys that can play defense, and they desperately need it. And they were in the bottom 5 of the league in that category a season ago.
Well, anytime you have a young team, the defensive end is probably going to suffer more than anything by getting Patrick Beverly, but also Taurean Prince, kind of veteran players who kind of been there and understand it. You can kind of shore up that a little bit and a voice of reason when they're on the court.
Pat had a chance to talk with him before the game. He's loving Minnesota. He says it's an underrated city, not too far from his hometown, Chicago. Just great to catch up with him. And Minnesota's got a real keeper. Scrum gets behind the defense. And flushes it in. Exclamation mark at the end of the first quarter for the Clippers. They put up 30 points in the opening frame, and they lead the Timberwolves by 3. Final preseason game for the Clippers, and everybody contributing in the first quarter. Terrence Mann leads the way with 10. Giles and Isaiah Hartenstein. It says something about your top of the order here for the Clippers. These two guys have been terrific here in the preseason.
Yeah, and it's always tough when you're fighting for the position on the team, and you see how close it is in evaluations. One can fluctuate to the other, but it all goes back to fit. At the end of the day, sometimes it may be a more talented guy that doesn't get on the roster because the fit may just not quite be there compared to, I'm not going to say his opponent, but his teammate who eventually made the squad.
It's a tough situation for Giles, and I'm not saying that he's not going to be the guy, but he wouldn't be here if he was healthy. He's got all the talent in the world. So too does Brandon Boston Jr. Misses on the 3. And Russell comes away with another rebound, his 5th here in the first half. Just underway in this second quarter. This is the 3rd preseason game for Minnesota. Prince for 3. Another rebound for Russell. Dashes into the lane, reverse layup, and lays it in. Trims the lead down to 1. Russell, 8 points, 4 rebounds, and a couple of assists in a multitasking 9-minute effort here in the first half. Boston ISOs on Prince, loses the ball, getting a little sloppy in the first half. Reed leads it ahead to Russell, and he coasts in for the score.
Yeah, with Boston, too, as he learns, it's sometimes less dribbles to get by your guy. He's been able to use his talent on the lower level. Now that at the NBA, guys are quicker, faster, stronger.
See Boston here again. Turnover here, but tons and tons of talent.
Well, tons of talent, but a little bit too quick. Torian Prince is right there on him. Again, the ability to get by your opponent, to understand his footwork, where his angles are at. All those things he'll learn once he's on the court a lot more like that. Cutting without the basketball, now using that athleticism once he gets inside to then finish at the rim.
There's a chance that he plays on especially nights when there might be players resting. If you could give him one bit of advice right now to help his season, what would it be?
Study. Study. I mean, studying it's this kind of thing, these kind of things right here. It's not can I get the ball in my hands and go one-on-one. It's what are the openings in the offense and the defense. Okay? How are guys playing me? How do I need to play guys? You know, by studying that gives you an advantage, and you have to be honest with yourself as well as a young player.
You know, when Pat Beverly was here, he took the rookies aside. He said just what you said. You've got to study. Do you know how he recommended they study as Noel fires in the three? Play NBA 2K. You will learn all of your opponent's weaknesses. He was serious about it. He said that's how a lot of his studies would go. I wish my homework
was that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was a little bit different. But, you know, it does help. Great hands that time by Coffey.
4-on-2 power play. Coffey sidestepping everybody. Can't get the shot to fall. Whistle and a foul on the second effort by Giles.
Coffey not able to put it in the cup that time.
Every time I comment after you do it, you say I'm trying to steal your thunder. So I'll just say...
No, it was a good one.
It was a splendid effort.
I got that. Splendid.
Giles will go to the free throw line, and it's worth saying again, I don't know who's going to make the team, but if this is who your 15th roster spot is going to go to, you've got a ton of talent. You see Ivica Zubac. There's no word on the timeline for Serge Ibaka returning, but was cleared for contact. He was very active at training camp in San Diego. You see Paul George.
So important, Serge is, and the reason why is because he adds that element of shooting from the big. So when you go into a pick and roll with Bledsoe, with Paul George, you know, it's a different animal.
Nice feed inside to Vanderbilt, but can't lay it in. A lot of missed shots around the iron for Minnesota. Bledsoe motors to midcourt and beyond, tied at 34 here in the first half. Coffey alone for three. Boston soars up high along with Giles, a crowd in the clouds, but unable to come away with a tip. And Vanderbilt this time with an exclamation mark flushes it in.
Yeah, that time Justice Winslow tried to take the foul at half court, but wasn't aggressive enough. And once he missed, that took him out to play advantage Minnesota.
Bledsoe gets downhill, tripped up. Winslow, a no-look to Giles, and a finger roll finish.
And that's what Winslow can do. He can get to the basket and then make a play.
Noel to Reed. Reed's turned into be a very nice player in Minnesota. Undrafted a season ago, averaged 11 points and 4 rebounds, and he's part of it here for Minnesota as they try to get back into the playoffs on a more consistent basis. Pass from Giles, and Winslow lays it in. Knotted up at 38. 8.5 to play in the half. Noel curling, catching, and connecting, knocks it down. He has 8. Bledsoe, a deep three. A lot of time on the clock. He is better above the break than he is in the corners in terms of shooting from distance. Vanderbilt, the seas part. He rides the tide, slams it down. It's 43-38 Minnesota. Timeout Clippers as they pass it along the way here in the first half.
Well, the theme of the Clippers season, move, find an open man, find space, make the play, and Giles right here.
A consistent basis, able to get there back in 2018, but haven't been back. Chris Finch has his hands full You take a look at the standings a year ago. There you see Minnesota 19-45. But if there is a team that has potential to really leapfrog into that, to me it is Minnesota. You have kind of questions behind Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell in the sense in good questions, like we think it's going to work. You've got a second year with Anthony Edwards. I think they have some pieces to make it very tight in the Western Conference.
Well, they do, and I agree. The challenge is the depth of the West. Who can they leapfrog to kind of really make some noise?
Great problem is that almost everybody's fingerprints on it that time down, but they missed coming out of the timeout. Minnesota leads by 5. Reed for 3. 33% this season ago. Kennard brings it an arcing pass down to Zoo. Let him a little too far. Clippers getting sloppy in the second quarter. McDaniels, the floater off the window is good.
If you turn it over like that and you don't have numbers in regards to balance backcourt, you're going to give up something. McDaniels able to take advantage of that turnover.
Kennard should only shoot it when he has the ball in his hands. He is looking good. 6 for Kennard. And 7 3-pointers in his last 6 quarters played. Was so foul offensively against the Wolves. Ball goes back to the Clippers.
Well, when I was playing, the toughest guys to guard were those that moved extremely well without the ball. And again, know your scouting report. McDaniels, he went under the screen. Guess what happens? Kennard is going to read it, fade out a little bit. Teammate get him the ball, knock it in.
I don't want to compare the two players, but could you see how the Clippers used J.J. Redick through that Lob City era where they were running him around screens? I think Kennard has a better handle than J.J. Redick, but could you see that kind of offense for the Clippers, that motion offense that just keeps everybody busy?
Yeah, you know, a little bit different because you had some post-up opportunities inside with Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. A little bit more where we're centered around it so you can run J.J. off of him and then get some easy baskets inside. You'll see a lot more backdoor cuts, a lot more down screens to get Kennard the ball like this right here, then ask him to make a play. Either take the shot, he missed that one, or dump it off.
Kennard has not been shy. 6 shots in 11 minutes. Edwards gets it across the way to Reed. Then close out by man, pokes it away. Kennard comes away with it. Leather larceny. Clippers down by 4. Bledsoe. And now Reed gets it back. It's cue the Benny Hill music. Back and forth we go. Edwards from the line to the lane, swooping inside. And there's a little bit of that athleticism that we've talked about.
Yeah, but again, the deep turnover, you don't have court balance when you get back. Now it's a 3-on-2 situation. Minnesota able to take advantage of with Edwards right down the lane.
6 turnovers for the Clippers, 7 for Minnesota. There's a good look at Edwards.
I'm sorry, 6 turnovers this quarter. Or 6 turnovers altogether for the Clips. Let's see how many. It might be a little bit more. My stats are not refreshing right here.
It's preseason for the stat.
I know. It's up and down.
Batum that rolls off the rim. McDaniels has the loose ball for Minnesota. They lead by 6. We're speaking these turnovers into existence, Jim.
Cut it out.
Kennard. Walled off by a pair of defenders. Bledsoe downhill, gets to the rim, blocked on the way down by Reed. Score the bucket for Eric Bledsoe. He has 6.
Yeah, but a little thing, veteran move. Bledsoe able to catch. We see it on the back end, but he caught the ball on the move. What does that mean? His defender was already on the side of him. That gave him momentum and access to basically get his 2 feet in the lane and then pick up the basket.
Late whistle, but a proper one as Eric Bledsoe collides with Beasley. 5:21 to play here in this first half. The 3rd foul for the Clippers in the quarter. Side out for Edwards. Towns doubled in the corner. Whips it right into the ready hands of Kennard. 3-on-2 power play. Bledsoe attacks. Swooping in with a left hand, a hustle and a foul. He'll go to the line for 2. Well, one thing that really is a juxtaposition from Pat Beverly and Eric Bledsoe, both very good athletically, both will do some great things respectively, but the chatter from Pat Beverly to Eric Bledsoe is literally on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Well, you have to ask Pat sometimes if tone it down a little bit. Now you got to ask Bledsoe, like, what'd you say? Did you speak out? Say more than a couple words, but he leads by example, which is good. And both are great leaders in their own right on how they go about taking care of their business.
The emotional leader for the Clippers for the 4 years he was here. And Minnesota, again, they will love Pat Beverly. I feel like he has shed that kind of title of, if he's on the other team, you don't like him. I think if you like basketball, you like Pat Beverly.
Well, it depends on what team you ask, though. I think some teams still would say, no, I don't like him. And that's out of side of respect, too.
Maybe in Oklahoma City, that might be a different vibe. Here's Kennard for three. Towns has a loose ball. Minnesota leads by 3. They're coming off a win in Denver in overtime. Edwards. Beasley, good passing here by the Wolves. McDaniels for a good look at the 3 and rings it in.
Well, a little interesting lineup by Chris Finch right here. Not a prototypical point guard for Minnesota in this unit here. Hence, some of the turnovers, the not having continuity, but McDaniels able to knock in that shot.
Getting a little sloppy, and now late in the clock for Terrence Mann. The 2 into and he slams it in. Oh, what a bailout pass there from Nicholas Batum.
But when you have shooters on the wing, Brian, that opens it up for that pass in the middle of the court.
McDaniels. Reed. Third effort is pay dirt for Towns and the Timberwolves. And a kick ball stops the clock. 3:37 to play in the second quarter.
Well, we go back. Keep the court spread. If you have shooters stay in your position that time, you have to make a decision with Batum. When he comes off, he can shoot it. So now both defenders, a lack of communication, and no one does it better than Drew, getting right down the lane, presenting himself, then able to finish with the nice flush.
Zoo averaged 9 points and 7 rebounds. I don't know if they're going to make him a focal point offensively, but I feel that there is room for more than just that, given how Eric Bledsoe has been able to attack and how many times they're going to be able to get into the paint with some of these different looks that Tyler has. Kennard late in the clock, the rainbow 3 halfway down as Keon Johnson checks in for the first time tonight. He was in consideration for starting tonight. Nice pass by Russell into McDaniels. By the way, McDaniels now with 10.
You know, to finish your thought on Zoo, he's not going to get like plays called for him, but deep post-ups off of rolls, backdoor cuts, lobs at the rim, running in transition. Those are all opportunities for him to benefit off of the outstanding playmakers that the Clippers had.
And that was one thing that was different last year than 2 years ago. Clippers were really good about getting into the paint and shots at the rim. Last year, the first half of the season, essentially, when Serge Ibaka was the starter, they were more of a perimeter-based attack. Only 20 shots at the rim. When Ivica Zubac came in, that went up by 5 shots at the rim per game. A big difference. And when you shoot 70% at the iron, it's a 6-point swing potentially for the Clippers.
Well, I like to see more of that, and the reason why, not just getting shots at the rim, but the ability now for multiple players to pick up fouls, which means now you can get into the penalty early, get yourself to the free throw line.
Again, a missing color in the rainbow last year for the Clippers. 2 years ago, they were the league leader in free throws attempted. They dipped significantly last year, but they made up for it by having one of the best three-point shooting seasons in NBA history. 54-48, Minnesota out in front, under 3 to play in this first half. Towns flares out into the corner, picked up by Zoo. Good contest by Zoo. Blocks the shot, Batum has it. Zigs and zags his way across half court. Johnson picked up by Russell. Nice shot there by the rookie.
Yeah, but good patience, too, because he could have been flustered, threw the ball out, took a tough shot, but that time the rookie just took his time. Knew D'Angelo Russell was up in his grill a little bit, but instead of forcing it, stayed patient, maneuvered just a little bit, used that athletic ability to take all 2 of those.
Age of social media, you may have heard of Motivational Mondays, but it is most motivational every day for Justice Winslow. Every single morning he takes to his social media accounts and posts an inspirational message. Now, he said this started back in June. He said, you know what, everything that we've been through as a community with social injustice, with COVID, it has been so heavy. So if he can help spread a little positivity to other people, help uplift them, that's a great thing. And it's a good way for him to help find that balance at the start of every day. And guys, I think he is spot on. I love it.
I have enjoyed his post. Jamie, thank you very much. I still have to say thank you to Jamie. We carpooled. She drove here. No detours. We didn't go to Staples Center. We came straight here. It was a nice ride. Jamie was a terrific driver and chauffeur.
Wait. We'll see this play right here. Jamie, did you hear that? Did you hear that, Jamie?
No one has ever said that I'm a good driver.
No.
I have a lead foot, but also, I mean, he let the female drive. Come on, Brian.
Oh, but hold up. He slid in there, not Staples Center for some reason. He put that in. Why is that?
I mean,
I'm not afraid to make fun of myself now.
Well, I mean, what are you talking about?
I was at Staples Center. I'm terrible.
See, I tried to get you in part of the carpool, and I texted,
No, you did. No, you did.
this morning.
No, you did not.
And
no,
then
you didn't
responded,
text me.
New phone, who dis?
Poor
That's when I
Jim
texted you
probably
this
needed
morning.
all the motivational quotes as he was making the drive from Staples out here.
Hey, listen, you didn't text me this morning. I felt like an idiot. And I'm getting mad at the people at the tunnel at Staples. Like, what are you talking about? We're doing it from the floor. They're looking at me like, are you crazy? That's just when you have too much going on in your head.
The good news is, I think all the speeding tickets you got on the way here are tax deductible because it was for work.
No, the good thing is it was dark, so I was able to maneuver in and out of traffic stealthily.
We're glad you're here. Towns knocks down to 3, 59-52. Can I borrow a couple bucks? I got to pay Jamie for some gas money.
Oh, yeah. No, we can take care of Jamie now.
Batum controls for the Clippers. 100 seconds remain here in this first half. Clippers trail by 7. Man.
Oh, nice pass.
To Johnson. Rings the rim. He's got a high vertical on that jump shot. Boy, he's got a high vertical in general, 48 inches. Edwards has a vertical. Oh, my goodness. Respect for the youngster.
Yeah, I mean, great play, but Johnson, Karen has to know that you want to force Anthony Edwards to take that shot to stay on your feet. You make a mistake like that, Edwards, Ant-Man is going to make you pay.
Man, a step away 3. He loved it the second he left his hand. He knocks it down, 61-55. Man with 13 points. How about 3 of 5 from above the arc? We've seen a little bit of everything from Man here in the preseason. Towns. Tough shot inside. He lays it in. He has 13.
Well, that's what makes him so tough. You put him in the middle of the court. He can beat his guy off the dribble. No backline help that time by the Clippers.
Johnson tries to bullet pass inside to Zoo. Deflected, intercepted. Edwards. Oh, graceful finger roll finish. 65-55. Minnesota leads by 10. Man, feeling good, lets it fly. This one a little long. And Towns vacuums in the loose ball. He has 8 rebounds here in the first half in 15 minutes.
Yeah, Minnesota doing a better job of closing out the second quarter and half.
A 5-second difference between the two timers. Minnesota going to be able to play 2 for 1. Towns drives into a double team. Clippers have plenty of time. Johnson to Man. Back to Johnson. Has broken out here in Ontario. Johnson ahead of the horn. No, it wouldn't have counted anyway. Nevertheless, some fireworks to close out the first half. Minnesota leads by 10, but Keon Johnson making his mark.
A little bop right here, gave it up early, give and go, able to get it in.
Welcome back inside our NBA TV studios. Alongside Isaiah Thomas, I'm Stephanie Reddy. Glad you guys are here with us. We're going to talk quite a bit about what we just saw in that first half. 10-point game. I'm not sure if we're surprised or not. This man is going to break it down for us on the other side of the break. 10 points. Timberwolves are up. Cat Towns has got 15. D. Russell 12 and Edwards 12. And I think Isaiah.
You're saying, hey, we got to do a better job. If you're the Clippers coach, you're saying we got to do a better job at the three-point line. And then you're not that disappointed if you're only down 10 and you're shooting 40% from the field you're saying we're going to play better offensively, and we don't want to turn the ball over.
Love the silver lining. Love it. Okay, so it is, we're back inside the studios. Isaiah Thomas, I'm Stephanie Reddy. We're getting closer to get you guys back to the game. The second half will be underway shortly. Before we do that, what should we see from them? I mean, you talked about it a little bit. They have to shoot better. But as we look at this third quarter getting underway, what's going to be the key for the Clippers?
You know, for the Clippers, it's okay, can you get dribble penetration? Can you get ball movement, as we see they're trying to do here? And then it's always coming down to shot selection for the Clippers.
All right, let's listen in and enjoy the game, ladies and gents.
A stop and go, and then a stop and turnover, and the ball goes back to Minnesota.
That time, the possession for the Clippers, they chose to keep the ball on the left-hand side of the court. It never got back to our side, the right side. It's easy for the defense to handle that possession.
Here is Towns, 15 and 8 in that first half. 7 to shoot for Beasley. Hasn't really been able to find his range or his rhythm in this preseason. He's got one more game to iron it out. Turns it over there. Ball goes back to the Clippers.
Well, you know, he had a little injury last year, but also coming into the game, he was 8 for 20, 1 for 9 from behind the three-point line. That's one of the things that Coach Fitz wants to see is more consistency out of Beasley.
Man, the drive and the dish. Kennard, the catch, and the swish. Luke Kennard now with 13. Clippers cut the lead down to 7. Edwards rises from the circle. Kennard pops the ball together, gobbling up another rebound for the Clippers. I'll tell you what.
I like it. I like it.
I am loving this version of Luke Kennard. And let's be honest, he didn't look good the first couple of preseason games, which kind of flew in the face of how he looked in San Diego during training camp. This is what we saw 2 weeks ago.
Well, but we also saw it in the playoffs. That's why you kind of figured that he would come out kind of in the guns blazing in regards to shooting the basketball in confidence. But the first couple games, he wasn't able to do it, but looking good the last 2.
Look away pass from Man to Bledsoe. Plenty of time for the Clippers. Man goes to work. Clever move, tough shot. You got to be kidding me with that one. 15 for Man.
Patience. Didn't settle for a little step back 3. Hesitation. Down the lane. 1-foot floater.
8 unanswered for the Clippers. They trail by 2.
It's amazing you don't turn the ball over. You get some good shots, Brian.
Bledsoe from the wing to the lane to the rim. And we are tied. And the Clippers have scored all 10 points here in the third quarter.
Well, get the ball up quickly. Flatten out the defense. Now you're able to get some shots. Kennard able to square up his shoulders and knock it in. And then here, little handoff. Again, going under your late. Kennard fading to his right, able to knock it in.
9 of his last 14 from distance. You see his numbers here in 20 minutes of action.
Well, again, he's not going to take bad shots. So, again, you trust him to be able to be more aggressive, knowing that if he doesn't have the initial shot, he'll give it up and try to get it back.
Towns aggressive. McDaniels for 3. He has been very good here tonight. He has 13.
Long, 6'9". One of the top high school players coming out for his year at Washington.
Batum. A collision, but no whistle. Misses on the 3. Wolves have the rebound. Edwards runs over Bledsoe. A whistle and a blocking foul. How about the athleticism in just those 2 players alone?
Yeah, I thought, let's see, you know, if he was right there, if he was still moving, he had a good angle. Maybe wasn't set all the way. Not that you have to be set, but in the position to take it. That's one of those bang-bang calls right there that the officials...
Someone's going to complain either way.
No question.
Russell on the handoff from Towns. Scoops to the hoop off the window and in. Count it and a foul.
The old James Harden right here. Push the ball out. The help defender reaches, and then the ability for Russell to finish through the contact.
Started his career with the Lakers, traded to Brooklyn, then signs with the Warriors, traded to Minnesota. He's hoping to have a home there for a while. And again, as we mentioned back in the first half, very close friends with Towns. Batum. Oh, look, dish to Zoo, up and under, but he can't finish.
I think Zoo was surprised the ball got through.
That was a clever pass.
Go back a little, Magic Johnson here. Look at this. Behind the head right there. Zoo's like, oh.
And Batum, we saw this during training camp. I don't care what his numbers are here in the preseason. He's ready to go. He's had very little time off. He was in rhythm. He is ready for the regular season to start. Good defense by Zoo, staying vertical as Towns draws the contact and ultimately the whistle.
I thought maybe Zoo's reputation of really defending that well would bode well, because now he helps, he gets back, but that time he is coming forward. So Tony Brothers kind of got that right. Normally Zoo is straight up in the air, but you see his momentum from help defense back to his primary offensive player calls the foul.
Towns on media day expressed, I don't want to call it frustration, but just his view of the organization. He said he has seen it all over his time with Minnesota, with coaching changes and front office issues and players being traded and the Jimmy Butler situation. Yep. This may be the chance here, again, with Russell, his buddy, and Edwards, a budding star, to build some consistency in terms of overall team success. When you look at the last 6 years of his time with the Timberwolves, 29 wins his first year, 31 the second, makes the playoffs in his third, but then they go down, 36 wins, 19 wins, 23 wins last year. Going to have to leapfrog a few teams to be in that playoff play-in conversation, but they've got some interesting players could possibly make it happen. Bernard sets his feet, fires a three. Russell with another rebound. He has 9.
Well, Anthony, 7th year, only 25 years old. Talk about the inconsistency. I've been there before, and it does hurt your overall product when you don't have stability at the top in management and coaching.
Russell knocks down the 3. There's 17, a whistle and a timeout. So the Clippers open up with a 10-0 run. Guess what? The Wolves respond here in the third quarter in kind as well. That was one sign that I knew that he might not be playing tonight. Pat doesn't like to talk on game days, but he is mixed in so many different ways. He seems happy in Minnesota. The fans of the Twin Cities will absolutely love watching him play. Time now for the player profile brought to you by Kia. We take a look at Isaiah Hartenstein. Potential roster spot available for him. You see, born in Eugene, Oregon. Father was a professional. Also played at Oregon. Played in Germany and Lithuania. And you can tell he picked up a lot of tricks of the trade from Nikola Jokic last year in his time in Denver. Out of the timeout, a turnover for the Clippers. Russell clever pass to Edwards and a graceful finish with the left hand. 12-0 run for Minnesota.
That time, just excellent defense by Anthony Edwards on Terrence Mann to pop it away and get out of transition to finish.
Crossover move for Bledsoe. Zoo there to recover. Slapped on the way up. A late whistle will send him to the line for 2.
A little isolation play at the elbow for Terrence Mann on the last play, but the anticipation right here. That reach in by Edwards, and then Russell, one dribble up ahead. Edwards able to beat the Clips back in transition.
So Zoo will go to the free throw line for a couple. He might miss Pat Beverly the most. They had a great synergy defensively. Zoo would talk about when I played for the Lakers, Pat would seek him out and just talk trash to him. And then when they became teammates, it was very obvious that they had a terrific connection.
Well, you're tied to your big, too. I mean, that backline defense, now you can't put bigs in situations where you don't guard and expect them to help all the time. As much as they help you, you have to be able to be there for them when they rotate over, block out their men, and kind of clean up some of those defensive rebounds.
Wolves by 10. Clippers, if you're just joining us, opened up the second half on a 10-0 run. Minnesota would counter with a 12-0 run. Beasley, wild shot, no. And then a crime of passion as he collides with Eric Bledsoe, whistle and a foul. But Beasley he's a main piece to this team for sure. They need him to be better than he has been here in the preseason. Just 1 for 2 in 19 minutes.
Yeah. Missed the last 12 games last year with a hamstring injury. He had some legal issues he had to deal with. So trying to figure out where he fits into this equation. He has the confidence from the coaching staff and from the organization, but at some point, if it doesn't turn the corner, they have to make an executive decision on who's going to fill in that lineup, but he has a lot of time to carve out his niche back with his squad.
Man, contested jumper, good closeout by Edwards. Better tapped in by Zoo. 79-71. Ivica Zubac 8 points and 9 rebounds.
Well, part of being an outstanding offensive rebound is understanding where the ball is going to carry him off after the shot and not standing still. Zoo went right to the left side of the basket and got it.
Russell tailgated by Bledsoe, finds daylight and knocks it down. Russell has been very good here tonight. 19 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds.
And very efficient 6 of 10 shooting for D'Angelo.
Kennard at daylight. Bledsoe. Offensive foul against the Clippers.
Just a little nudge right there on Karl Anthony Towns to clear some space for Bledsoe to get inside. Got to be a little more subtle right here. Just I don't know about that one. I thought it was more of his body underneath him, and I don't know about that one. Come on, Tony, brother. Better than that.
Remember in the first quarter when you said he was doing a great job?
Well, that was first quarter. We're not talking about that. The past we're not bringing up.
Noel for 3. McDaniels gets the roll, and I think a bit of a surprise, a pleasant one last year. Started out the year averaging 5 points, rebounds, accelerated down the stretch, averaging 8 and 5.
Well, some of the questions was his work ethic and passion for the game. Not that he didn't have the talent, but coming out of Washington, did he have the motor necessary to see a tie up here but a foul, necessary to be really effective, especially at a young age, at the next level. The talent was never a question.
You want to feel a little sad right now?
About what?
McDaniels mentioned grew up in Washington. He said he's too young to know what the Sonics were.
But you know what? True, real talk, because they haven't been there. Now, somebody in the family should know and talk to him about the good old. Gary Payton, Rain Man, come on. Please tell me he was just like playing around.
I didn't.
He knows who Gary Payton is.
Oh.
He knows who Rain. He got to.
13 years have passed since the NBA was in Seattle, and it is a hidden gem. Edwards for 3. Machine guns at home as it rattles through the cylinder.
Well, he's not a hidden gem. I can tell you that much.
Kennard. Man drives, spoon feeds Zoo. Floater in roof is good. Ivica Zubac with 10 points, so 9 rebounds.
Again, excellent pace in Zoo. Instead of crowding the lane, he maintains his position on the baseline and able to get the feed from Man.
Strong drive by Towns. A little too strong off the glass. Man does not have numbers. Picked up by a backpedaling Edwards and now waits for backup. Kennard.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Technically, that is his offhand. But as we've mentioned before, ambidextrous, he lays it in at 86-75. And Luke Kennard looks like such a different player from a year ago. Pass intercepted. The gifted grab for Man. Bledsoe back to Kennard. More passes than dribble on this possession, and I like it. The two unable to convert at the rim. Minnesota leads by 11. 3:43 to play in the third. Edwards misses on the 3. Running rebound by Kennard. Man into a 3. Noel, ball slapped away. He gets it back and lays it in. Timeout comes. 3:21 to play in the third. Minnesota by 13.
Back, everybody. It's time for something worthy of a Carl's Cam replay. And as Isaiah Hartenstein is checking into the game, we're going to talk about the developing chemistry between he and Luke Kennard. Isaiah said during his time with the Rockets, he played with a lot of shooters. So he knows how to get guys open. He knows how to find them. He also said that the way Luke moves He just makes it so much easier. You know, Ty Lue also commented saying that the second unit has such a good thing going. And I love this comment. He said, Kennard's movement causes confusion, guys.
Good stuff, and here is Kennard. He has been confusing everyone tonight. He has a team-high 18 for the Clippers. Hartenstein tied up on the way up. Good defense there by Reed in Minnesota. What a pass ahead to Edwards, but going a little too far. Nice effort there by Reed. And the Wolves, they've got some pennies in the piggy bank for a rainy day. They lead by 13, under 3 to play in the frame. Hartenstein has really been interesting. His ability to pass in such tight situations has been impressive. Coffee, the Minnesota native, off the window, accosted en route to the rim, but a whistle and a foul will go against Amir Coffee.
That time left his feet, looking for a block. What's interesting in this lineup, too, now Terrence Mann is going out on that possession. Let's see if the defender, yeah, he's there. Tough ball. But on that last possession, it was Winslow who initiated the offense when Terrence Mann was on the court. Back to Justice, kind of playing that point forward position a lot of times.
There's Amir. His father played for the Timberwolves very briefly, had a storied career for the University of Minnesota. One would say that Richard Coffey had a cup of coffee.
I played against his father. How about that? That means I'm old. I played against his father at the University of Minnesota my freshman year.
Edwards ahead to Noel. Whistle and a foul behind. Well, I'll tell you this. I used to work for the Minnesota Timberwolves when I loved my time in the Twin Cities. I auditioned Richard Coffey to potentially be the radio analyst for the Timberwolves radio network, like I want to say back in 2004.
Really?
Yes. They ended up going into a different direction. I'm not sure they hired one, but he was terrific. And as you, I don't know if you had a chance to chat with him, he's a very nice guy and has done a wonderful job, along with Amir's mother, of raising kids who have been hyper successful. The game of basketball.
Well, worldly too, because his father military. He came into Minnesota a lot older and more mature when he came and played at the university. I'm like, man, who's this grown man that I'm playing against right now? At the University of Minnesota, but having that worldly experience and that discipline too. I think that's why Amir's able to go through a lot of the changes and challenges, because he stays grounded from his parents.
He has two sisters. One plays for the LA Sparks in the WNBA. Had another sister that played in Australia professionally. You know what they called her? You know what her nickname was?
What?
Coffee, mate.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Oh, Vanderbilt races back the other way, checks his rear view, and slams it down 92-75.
Well, you see the challenge, too, with the continuity once Bledsoe kind of leaves the game, and also Terrence Mann. The turnovers tend to tick up a little bit.
Nice effort by Hartenstein to tap it home.
Keep your head in front of the rim. It's a soft miss, able to get it in, and that time Hartenstein not able to get in front of Reed to take that basket away.
Hartenstein looking for Winslow. Winslow on the move. Hartenstein dives to the rim. They don't get it to Boston. Never shy to shoot. Exhibit A into the rim. Counted for the youngster.
Shifty. You know, determined to get to a spot, and that time showed a little strength. Got a little contact, didn't complain.
Early to say this, and I don't want to put the pressure on him, but one of those steals of the draft. There's no question about it. Hartenstein gets behind the defense, plays back to Boston, catch and shoot three. A good-looking play, unable to come away with the bucket. 94-79, Minnesota out in front. Wolves shooting 55% from the field and lead by a big margin despite 14 turnovers. Winslow with a rebound ahead to Boston. Sandwich in between a couple of defenders. Just can't get his talons on the ball, and it goes out of bounds.
That time moving a little bit too fast, but not on this one. Shifty was able to shift Vanderbilt to go to his right. Boston went back to his right hand. get inside and finish.
You talked about Boston and the one bit of advice you would give him. You said study. What are the keys? What's the biggest thing for him to study going forward?
Well, but also you got to know what you're looking for. And that's relying on the coaching staff to point out certain things that you need to get better at and identify that within the film. See Reed right there with the runner.
Nice shot by Reed to beat the shot clock. Winslow will have his opportunity. Doesn't get it off in time, and so the third quarter comes to an end. After the Clippers started out on a 10-0 run, Minnesota regained the momentum, and to put the Clippers in the rearview mirror, 96-79. Jim, if somebody was tuning in for the first time here in the preseason, can you do me a favor? Do us all a favor. What are the keys in the preseason? You had 3 distinct keys in the preseason.
Well, first you asked me when I got a cough drop in my mouth, and I really can't. I was trying to get it lathered up and oiled up so I can enter it after that kickball. And after this possession, we go back down the other way. So I want you to set me back up again.
Okay.
That's the very important part.
You do hear the producer counting down in the ears when we come back in,
Who
right?
did what?
Our producer kind of said,
Where?
you're on in 3, 2, you... Okay.
You
That's
know,
all right. No,
sometimes
we'll
I don't
get your
pay
headset
attention.
fixed. It's okay.
Sometimes I just don't pay
Perfect
attention.
answer. Prince up and in for Minnesota. Had an ankle sprain a couple years ago in Atlanta. Said it's bothered him the last couple of years. Had surgery in the offseason. He's ready to kind of get back to where he was in Atlanta. I thought he showed really nice signs. What a feed. Hartenstein. Oh, and a nice finish by Scrub. And that is the passing that we're talking about.
But it's also knowing when to go. The trigger point. If you're overplayed, then that's when that backdoor cut. But excellent footwork by Hartenstein too. The turn, pivot, and then put the pass on target on time.
Deflection by Scrub goes out of bounds. Jim, if there was a new viewer tuning into these pre-season games,
right,
as we see,
they would see this right here. They would see Hartenstein saying, "Oh, I didn't know he could do that." Okay, but finish.
The biggest keys. You have 3 separate ones. What are they here?
You know, it's huge. 1. Eliminate injury. Okay. 2, before we get into this, I think this is very important that we get out of here without having someone get hurt.
That's a good one.
And the third and most critical is that we're all healthy going into the regular season. The injury report is clean. How about that? Coming out of preseason.
Those are amazing. You should trademark that.
You know, and actually, you know, standard across the board. I think a lot of teams in the NBA, all 30, would adhere to those 3 principles.
Hartenstein inside a whistle, a travel, and a turnover. You know, the preseason is funny. I can't wait for it to get here.
Yeah, then you can't wait until the season starts.
I can't wait for it to end for the only reasons of getting everybody, and I don't care what colors you're rooting for, Minnesota, the Clippers, you name it. Everybody get into the regular season healthy.
Yeah.
Prince.
Well, you know, I'm a little bit more biased because I'm a player that got injured early. So when I see young players who have talent go through the injury bug, I feel for that because I understand what that does to you mentally, not only just physically, and what a challenge it is to kind of reshape who you are physically and mentally as a player to still be effective and do your job.
Coffee for 3. Tap up and in by Hartenstein. The third effort is pay dirt for the Clippers. 98-83 Minnesota. Bomaro is out there for the Wolves. Noel misses for the 3. Coffee with the rebound. On the drive. Stripped on the way up. Nice defensive play there for Minnesota in transition. Reed. Clever finish. 10 for Reed off the bench in 16 minutes. 183. Minnesota out in front. Took control of this game at the midway point of the second quarter. Clippers try to get back into it as Coffee breaks free and lays it in.
And that's the trigger point again. It's overplayed, backdoor. And you have trust that Zubac and Hartenstein right there can make the right play. But that was just an excellent read and react by both players.
Over 3 by Reach. Had only 33% this season ago. He's got a couple of them here tonight. 103-85 Minnesota.
Well, he looks comfortable. Obviously, he had a conversation with the coaching staff. Had confidence in him shooting that shot.
Hartenstein spins away from Reed, a whistle. Reed winds up on his wallet.
There you go back again, read and react. Talk about it all the time. Doesn't have to be drawn up, but you see the backdoor cut. But look where Hartenstein put the pass. It was right before Torian Prince could recover, but easy enough for Coffee to catch and then just finish.
Coffee says thanks a latte as it'll be Jay Scrubb to inbound. 9:11 to play in this one. 103-85. Minnesota out in front. Scrubb to inbound in front of the Minnesota bench. Coffee down the lane, blocked from behind by Reed. Noel to Prince, extra pass to Bomaro, knocks down the three.
That's a classic fast break right there. Touch it, you don't have to make a quick decision. You're knocking that three.
First round pick from Minnesota. Coffee inside. Up with the left hand, a whistle, and a foul will go to the line for two. Look at Hartenstein coming in just 6 minutes, 4 rebounds and a couple of assists, couple of buckets as well. 8:46 to play in the fourth quarter.
Well, I mean, remember at halftime we were saying, okay, when he's going to get it, what the minute situation going to look like very well in his time here.
He misses on the first of two. Stream Clippers basketball all season long on the Bally Sports app. Keon Johnson getting ready to check in. He'll take the place of Justice Winslow. Numbers for Winslow, 2 for 7 from the field, but I thought he looked very good. 5 rebounds and a couple of assists. Was able to get downhill, create some shots for others inside.
He plays with pace too. I mean, Winslow will push the tempo, which allows the Skipper team to kind of get some secondary action, to get some good looks at the rim quickly in the shot clock.
1 out of 2 for Coffee, half and half. 106-86, Minnesota out in front. Bomaro stops below the left elbow and knocks it down. And he comes in with experience.
Yeah.
Played for FC Barcelona. They are very excited about his future. You could see why he's made the last couple of buckets.
21-year-old rookie, 23rd pick in the 2020 draft by the Knicks.
I'm going to say it again, and it won't be the last time. He is in the running for steal of the draft. And when you have a team like the Clippers that have match players like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, you need to win the margins. And that looks like a very nice pick for the Clippers.
You know, teams, the Heat, talk about San Antonio, outstanding scouting, but also player development with the Clippers right here. Now, young fella's going to do that. I think the Clippers have an outstanding chance to do that as well, developing these young players and scouting. Now, young fella BJ out here showing off everything, able to catch a body right here inside the lane. Vanderbilt, not part of the rich family, but got caught right there. Easy money that time at Boston.
The Clippers will have 25 assists tonight. That is what Ty Lue has preached since day one, and we've heard the phrase over. Drive, hit, swing. You can see what happens when they share the basketball. Only good things.
Yeah, at 22 right now for the game, the question is, could they improve upon the assist-to-made field goal situation here this year? But it looks like with this kind of retooled offense, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to pump up those assist numbers.
This two-man game Reed accosted in mid-flight, but no whistle. It's a block from Hartenstein. Turnover on the other side, 7:18 to play in the preseason for the Clippers.
And that's a situation, too. You see that's kind of like page out of Zoo's book right there, up, 2 hands up, able to take it away. Keon Johnson in transition that time, not able to handle it. Turned it over a bit.
Bomaro brings it across, tripped up, a whistle and a push. Hartenstein, perplexed, raises his heavily tattooed arm. It'll go against him, stops the clock with 7:12 to play in the game. controls. Plenty of time on the clock for Minnesota. Reed tried to hit a couple threes. Misses badly on that one. Whistle.
Shot clock.
And the shot clock. You're mentioning Clippers record 27-6 when they have 25 or more. The league average would be essentially, with 25 assists per game, would be a 50-win season. So the Clippers were much better than that. I thought that number would be a lot higher league-wide. But for the Clippers, it really pays dividends, and a lot has to do with the fact that they can find some open shooters. We saw the numbers of all the three-point shooters over 40% a year ago for the Clippers. We're going to be able to match that again this year. Kinley Wright, two-way player out of Colorado from Minnesota, as Layman knocks down the shot for Minnesota.
Former Terrapin, that time Dick Layman.
Well, players always like playing with him. He's been able to take really complicated topics and make them very simple. Jake Layman. Kind of puts him in simple terms. I really had to string you along on that.
Well, I didn't know where you were going with it, you know, but I'm quick to the punch now. You know, it took me a second to catch it, but your body language told me where you were going. Your hand movement, so then I was able to catch on.
And the fact that I turned my back to you and stared at you.
Yeah. Like, get it already, okay? That's what you said.
You were good. Coffee for three. And he's been working on his marksmanship as he knocks down the three.
You know, we're in preseason right now. We really are.
Oh, Knight misses inside, but a whistle. And a foul. Nathan Knight, also a two-way player from Minnesota. Foul goes on Hartenstein, 6:18 to play.
So I was going to say something, but I don't know if it would flow with that on my ride down here being in the Espresso lane.
I like that. Good job out of you.
Yeah. Kind of slow it down a little bit and just stretch it out.
The next game that we have, Jim, the good news for you is at Staples Center. So you'll be right there. Maybe you were just early for our...
I was, see. If you would have saw the look on the faces of the people at the dock, and I'm the one upset, and she's looking at me like, you're crazy, you're not on the list.
So here's the best part about that you didn't see. They're all calling their friends. Remember that Jim Jackson for the Ohio State? The guy doesn't even know where he's at.
Yeah. Oh, hilarious.
We're glad you made it.
Sometimes you gotta laugh at yourself.
You do. I have a lot of material on that. Here is Boston for three, not there, and the rebound goes to Minnesota. Layman curls, catches, cannot connect. Rebound tapped over to Hartenstein, but a whistle and a foul. Under 6 to play here in the fourth quarter. I mentioned it earlier. Minnesota not done with their preseason. They're flying all the way to Brooklyn for a game later this week. They'll pull their curtain down on the preseason. There's Finch going to have his hands full, getting everybody ready to go in the regular season. We'll see Minnesota early a couple of times in Minnesota.
Oh, I got some nice. You going back home for no, so don't get big time because you're going back to Minnesota. I'm just telling you that now. I got beats there too.
There's still a lot of restraining orders that are in effect for when I go back to Minnesota. But I had a great time in the Twin Cities. I lived in Eden Prairie for a short bit. Great people. And some solid people within that organization to look forward to seeing. I know your cigar bar. I know all the places.
You know it. I cannot wait. And my boys are going to be very excited to see me, so they're going to lace me up.
There's Ike's, there's Murray's.
No, this is right.
A bunch of stuff over there. Here is Knight inside.
Oh, nice move inside. J.D. Hoyts.
Yes.
So that's right down the street from the cigar place. And actually, you can order food from there and eat it in the cigar place.
My favorite food in the Twin Cities is a pizza joint called Divines.
I love pizza. I can eat pizza every day. Oh, beautiful pass. Just not able to hold it that time by Scrub.
Scrub fades with a hand in his face and knocks it down. Again, there are 4 or 5 players on this roster for the Clippers that you're just so excited about their future. Jay Scrub, as we mentioned earlier, is one of them. Silva inside, whistle to foul.
Well, what did you take on it? And we see, besides the offense in regards to what we've seen, and we talked about this a lot in the passing, has there been anything that in these games have stood out to you in regards to the preseason for the Clippers? 1 or 2 points, a player.
You're asking me a question? It's not a rhetorical question.
No, I was asking. I said, is there anything that means it's a question?
Sometimes it's a rhetorical question. Hartenstein, Boston have certainly stood out to me. Jay Scrubb with the minutes.
I agree. I like and a lot of times in preseason, you can implement what you want to do but don't execute it. But I do like the attention to detail by the Clippers to execute their offense. I love the body movement like this here. So to me, it's the little things right there. Just, okay, you maintain your position, you get your feet in the paint, and then you make the play. Instead of trying to force a shot for yourself.
One thing that has been fun to watch with Isaiah Hartenstein is that I think he truly likes to make the pass more than he likes to make the bucket. He was the one that finished right there on the nice feed from Boston.
Being unselfish, though, as you know, Brian, it comes back to you. You know, in good ways. And right now, great defense triggers this fast break.
Scrubb in the transition 3. Hartenstein has made passes. He's protected the rim. He's done everything he's been asked to do. 3:47 remains in the preseason. Back to wrap it up.
Some positives in this game, and we've been talking about the body movement, the passing. One more illustration, and I love to do this right here because it just shows the attention to detail. If we freeze it here, Hartenstein has it. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 players around the perimeter with spacing. Okay, it forces Minnesota in the quick touch pass. Then once again, the drive 2 feet in the paint. Again, look at all the defenders around. You keep the space here. Easy money inside. Now all you have to do is make the play. Unselfish basketball. Can't wait to see all of this come together during the regular season.
Hartenstein is done for the night. His numbers: 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 3 assists.
How many minutes?
11.
That's the definition of being efficient right there. And again, accepting and knowing your role. That's so critical. Not only to a player that's trying to carve out a niche, but even a superstar. They have a role on the team, something they have to do. And a lot of times, some big-time superstars go outside of that. But the ones that understand it, how they give back, and then everybody else kind of falls in line, that's when you have that championship caliber team and you have the talent.
Good look at Paul George. He was just waiting. He's waiting for the regular season to begin, just getting his tires warm in the preseason. You see him looking on after what we saw in the playoffs. I can't imagine anybody more excited to start this season based off his performances against both Utah and Phoenix. And overall, just a historic line for PG. Boston, step away 3, hard off the heel, and it runs out of bounds, goes back to Minnesota.
Well, it's a great opportunity for Paul George to write a different narrative in regards to leadership, to get the score. The leadership part of it when you get into the beginning of the season, the meat of the season, and then late in the season on how he's been able to lead his team and how they finish up. And I do believe, see Isaiah, right there, Miller, let's say they crack the top 4. He'll be in position for MVP conversation if he's having that kind of year.
Go back to his time, and we mentioned this earlier in the preseason. He has led a team to the conference finals before as the #1 guy. Johnson for 3, it's good for the youngster. Go back to his time in Indiana, going toe-to-toe with LeBron in some of the best series that we've seen out of the Eastern Conference for a while. The 3 falls for Minnesota. So Paul George is going to have help. And I just really believe, and I know, Jim, you weren't with us at the time, but the 18-19 season had so many great storylines and vibes and just an overall feeling after a win. It was great. It wasn't what you're supposed to win. It was you just celebrated every game as it was, and he has a chance to do that here this year. And I just am very optimistic about the team's chances this year, as we all should be, given how they have played individually here in the preseason. .209 remains here in the 4th quarter. Air ball inside. Johnson with the rebound for the Clippers. Scrubb in attack mode. Bouncing into defenders. A kiss off the glass. It's good. Scrubb with 10 off the bench. Right. Miller catch and shoot three. Good looking shot. It falls.
Isaiah Miller, UNC Green's real athletic as all get out. You protect your neck when he's coming down the lane because he will go up over you.
Scrum. Eases into a three.
I thought that was money right there. He was right on line.
So did he. Rebound goes to Minnesota, 124-100. Clippers will fall through 1 and 3 in preseason. How about the block? Oh, a crowd in the clouds as Johnson swipes it away. Boston stumbles and loses the ball to give it right back to Minnesota. A foul on a three-point shot with 1:02 remaining here in the fourth quarter. If you take a look at Keon Johnson's massive athleticism.
Well, too athletic, ultra, uber athletic, and Keon actually got the rim. Could have been goaltending, but the officials figured they were trying to get out of here too. That the preseason game didn't call it, but it was the effort there by Johnson to take away a basket.
We appreciate the officials. Look at you. Well, you got some veterans here, and we didn't even talk about one of the officials might be better than some of the players on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
In his time, Leon Wood was legit.
Played in the Olympics, or was it on that 84 team with Isaiah?
There's Leon. And a guy named Michael Jordan.
Who? Bobby Knight coached that team, didn't he? Bobby Knight.
You obviously had to be recruited by Bobby Knight, no?
I didn't think about Indiana, bro. It wasn't my cup.
What I'm asking.
It wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah. I appreciate Coach Knight. He was terrific for those that can thrive in that environment.
Yeah, no, it just, he did, being an Ohio State guy, you know, former player. You see a tough foul that time. Brian Bowen. But yeah, he recruited, but it was never, no. I'm good. See the hustle, still guys playing hard. Brian Bowen. Undrafted.
Hazard pay for some of our.
Look at that. Stand in there and take the chart. Block a chart. Good job. My boy Russ Chapman.
We're going to review this. No Secaucus tonight. They're reviewing it here as we are not an NBA location. There's the back of Tony Brothers. Trying to see if this is a flagrant foul.
No.
Oh, a very nice play there by George King. It is a foul for sure, but good effort there. They'll send Bowen to the line, win, lose, or draw here as far as the review goes.
I think it's just how Bowen eventually hit the ground, which made it a little bit more aggressive than while they're looking at it, like right there. But easy call for the officials to make. It's
a common foul. And Brian Bowen will go to the free throw line. We last saw him when the Clippers were in Hawaii in the preseason, but for the Sydney Kings.
From Indiana, played with Jaren Jackson in high school. Jordan Poole, who's over at Golden State.
George King brings it across. Under a minute to play here in the preseason. And I speak for all of us in Clipper Nation. Thank goodness. What a feed inside. Johnson unable to lay it in. Perhaps the last active possession for Minnesota tonight. 128-100. This game was tied at 67. And a 12-0 run by Minnesota. He kind of lights out the rest of the way for the Clippers. But as we pointed out, some individual play for the Clippers. Very nice. And this will be it for the preseason for the Clippers. They will open up the regular season in Golden State. We'll not have that game. We'll have the home opener against the Memphis Grizzlies on October 23rd. And we hope to see you there in Jim as a public service. That game is indeed at Staples Center. Hold on a second. We got an interview with Jimmy Maggio here in just a second.
Timberwolves come away with the victory. I'm Stephanie Reddy. He's Isaiah Thomas. We'll be with you as we wrap this up and talk about what happened. Box score for the Timberwolves. They were up 128-100 at the end. D'Angelo Russell, Zeke ended up with 19 on 7 for 11 shooting.
Yeah, we talked about him earlier, and we're hoping that this is, his year. He's having a good preseason thus far.
9 assists and 7 rebounds. That's a terrific line.